written code space dot VS Code is opened. Okay. फैन स्पीड कम कीजिए, थोड़ा कम कर दो स्पीड. Okay, ready. Import export folder is ready. Inside the import export folder, you open the CMD. There you have written code space dot and press the enter key. So what will happen? The VS Code will get open. The VS Code will get open. This import export, what is that? In Angular and React, we have some kind of feature called reusability. In Angular and React, we have a feature called reusability. We can write something one place and we can use it many places, many times, many places. Okay. So their import and export concept is going to come. While doing import and export, there will be another term will come that is called async and await. Okay. So concept is very unique and it is going to be useful everywhere. The people who work on the front end and back end concept application, asynchronous application, there it is going to help a lot. So now we are going to understand in such a way, we will create one JavaScript file. Inside the JavaScript file, we will have some variable, some function, some arrays. Okay. And after that, there will be another file, HTML file. One file will be HTML file and one file will be JavaScript file. Okay. Under the JavaScript file, we will store some variables, function, and maybe array or maybe anything. After that, the variable of JavaScript file, we will try to call under the HTML file using the technique of import and export. There we will understand import export how it works, and after that sync await how it works, async and await how it works. And once we come under the React, there in React everywhere we have to use import and export. Without import export, your React will not work itself. Okay. There again, while using some function to call the data from the backend, we will use the async and await. That will be some unique concept completely. Okay. So let's come and create a file called something data.js. Data.js. Create a file called data.js. 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 समझे? ये है मार्केट स्टैंडर्ड. Okay, hope ready. Data.js. Now under the data.js, assume like it is a JavaScript file. Inside this JavaScript file, there is some assets, variable, function, or something. Okay, that function we are going to make is a reusable. Write once and use many times in many places. Okay, so how that is going to work? Let's go. First, create a simple variable as an array variable. We can write a constant variable. Const, why I am following here? Because the content of the data file has to go to other file. The content of the data file, the content of this data file has to go from the data file to other file. So there is the chances of variable value replace. There is a chances of content replacement. So in that case, we apply as a const, saying like once we apply the const, no one can change the value of that. Okay, so suppose I wrote here called item list is an array. Item list is an array. Okay, item list as an array. Now inside the item list, we can add few elements. Suppose apple, anything you can add. Something I added inside. Okay, so this become as a array, and this array is a constant variable that you are going to use in different file. This becomes a constant variable that you are going to use in different file, and reason to add the const is only one. Since this data file variable item list we are not going to use in this file, from this file we will export the variable to somewhere else. Okay, export meaning is what? Export meaning is sending. Export meaning is sending. So the variable is available under the data file, but usage will happen in some other file. Okay, so how the use will happen? Because this is a separate file and you are going to use in the separate file. So in that case there will be problem of content replacement. So to avoid that problem, we given the constant. No one can change the value of the item list now. Okay, one condition is ready. Another condition says like this variable we want to use in another file. Since this file is a separate and where you are going to use that file will be separate. Okay, so there will be a concept of export and import. So from this file we will say item list can be exportable. So what we have to do, if you make item list as a export, then any other file can import the item list and they can use easily. If item list if it says not export, that meaning this variable will become the private variable of this file. This file may share or may not share. Okay, so again the term of import and export is important. So how that is going to work? One variable we created, create one more variable here. Const right here called city list equal to write some city name, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Kolkata, Chennai. So two files is ready. Sorry, two function is ready. Okay. So two variable is ready as a constant variable defined in one time. Now after that, this variable we will say here called export, and here also we'll apply the keyword called as a export, export and export. Now the variable item list and variable city list are able to import. Anyone can import the item list and anyone can import the city list. Because until unless you will not make it exportable, if you will not make it export, no one can import it. It's just like same to day-to-day life. If you want to sell something, then only someone can buy. If you don't want to sell, someone want also they cannot buy because you don't want to sell it. Okay. In the your import export concept, it says like variable is there, but variable is not export. If variable is not export, no one can import it, none of the function can import it. If export keyword is applied, then only your javascript will get the feature of import. Until unless export is not applied, this variable will not be importable. Okay. So people ask usually in interview, what is the difference between import and export? Okay, we should not go on the very high-fi definition level, and we should not go in the very deep technical word. It may lead to confusion also. We can say import and export both are the keyword of JavaScript. It used to call the function, it used to call the file, it used to call the any kind of array. How that work? Suppose I have one file, there I have created a function, or I have created a variable, or I have created a class in one file. Now that function, file or class I want to use in some other file. Then before variable name or function name or class name, we have to use the keyword called export. Then at other end, we can use the keyword called import. Then only import will be applicable. Import used to call and export used to send. Okay, that way you can answer, people will understand easily. Import used to call and export used to send. But someone can import if it is export. Someone cannot import if it is not export. Okay. Then again, another keyword will come in this, that is called async and await. These all four are interlinked together. Which one? Import, export, async and await. Okay. So while using now, we are going to use all four together. Once we come under the React, then I'll guide you separate how separate import export will be used, and with sync and await also we can use all together. Okay. So your this file is ready, data.js file is ready. In that two array we have made. Now we are going to import this in some other file since we have applied the export keyword here. It is able to call by someone else. It is ready to call. Anyone can call this variable item list and city list.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Create another file. You can write any file name, index.html. See here, example is HTML and JavaScript. It is not example of JavaScript and JavaScript. Okay, it is example of HTML to JavaScript. Inside HTML, we will write JavaScript code only, but HTML to JavaScript. Further, once we study the remaining syllabus, what we have React and all, their JavaScript to JavaScript communication will happen. JavaScript will import the JavaScript file function. Okay, here your HTML file extension will be HTML. Inside JavaScript code will be there. JavaScript code will try to import the something from data.js file. Okay, start in that HTML. Follow the head section and then follow the script here. Follow the script here. Next, go for the body. and close the body. Okay. Inside you write a h1 tag, import, export, async, async, ewait, await. Simple example. Okay. Import, export, async, await. Simple example. Right? Hope ready. Next, after this, come down. Follow a button. Right inside call item list. Now follow one more button. Right inside call city list. City list. Item list and city list. We need to create one division as a container also, where we can read the data and display. A division ID equal to container. Okay, ready? Now come to the next table. On click, call a function get city, get city. Again on click, call a function get item. First will be get item, second will be get city. Get item, next will be get city. Get item, get city. Okay, ready? We can run this file. Before running, write the function also. Get city function, get city, get item first. Alert. Working. And you can write one more function here. Get city. Check now. We will run this one through the live server. You have to run through the live server. Directly you are not going to run it. HTML file, index.html, we have to read. We have to run through the live server because in this there is a concept to read the data from other file using import method. Directly it will not work. We have to run through the live server. We have to run through the live server, then it is going to work. So let us run live, do the right click, and you will have option called open with live server. We can go to the browser and that URL we can add localhost 5500 index.html. Two button will come. In that we can click on first button. OK will come. Working one. Second button also says working two. So hope it is working. Okay. Now after that, come there at this place. Inside the function one, we can apply here if variable my data equal to import import import. Inside that you will write dot slash data.js dot slash represent the current folder. So from the current folder we are going to call a file that is called data.js. Dot slash represent the current folder. dot slash represent the current folder. Dot slash represent the current folder. After that, come inside and right here from the data.js file, you are getting two variables. The first variable is item list and second one is called city list. So after doing the import, all the content of data.js file will come under the my data variable. So at this place, if we do a console.log, my data dot this one, which one? Item list. My data dot item list dot length, because my data is a, because the data list is the item list is the array. Item list is a array. Item list is the array that is coming from which file? Data.js, and hold under which variable? My data. So my data become a container of your item list and city list. So because of that, we are writing my data dot item list dot length. Under the my data variable, there should be a variable called item list. What is their length? Okay. So this one we can check whether it is giving anything or it shows any error. Okay. So after writing that, we will come to browser and we will open the console and we'll check there what is going to happen. Okay. So import what we have written. Let me come to the browser and look at here. In browser, we can go do the right click and go to the inspect. Inside the inspect, we can go to the console. After that, after going to the console, we can click on first button that is called item list. Click on first button that is called item list. It is saying uncaught error cannot read the property of undefined, which one? Undefined length, right? At get item somewhere inner button something it says is a error. Okay, why it is saying is error? Because your variable what you are using here, that is called item list, it is not able to find from where? Under the my data variable, it is not able to find the object called item list. Because of that, length is not coming. Saying called uncaught error, length is not defined. Okay. Since the when you have follow the import method, here we follow the import, there we have follow export. Where? Look at here. Under the data.js file, you made here call the export. Like your item list is able to access by anyone. At this place, you can see we have used a method called import. Using import, we given the path we are able to call. Let me remove dot slash also and say whether it is also working or not. I'll come to the browser. I will clear the old error. Let me click here. Says the same problem. It says like failed to resolve multi-specifier data.js file, get item something. Correct? Caught in promise. This is not able to find anything. Okay. So what is the reason at this place is, reason of this error is only one. Since you are reading the data from a source, your source is data.js file, and you have used here import and export keyword. So at this place, there will be compulsory to use async and await. Now, what is that async? Async says like the fetch method you have used. If you remember, we have used dot then function one time also, two time also. Dot then function is called a promise function. What is do when the response come from the backend? Dot then function will be able to capture that response. Okay. At this place, our function, the get item function, it is requesting to the source for data purpose. Source is able to deliver also, but our main file, main function, the function name is called get item. It is not able to capture the data. Okay, data is coming from there. It is able, because we have made as a export, means anyone can call that. Here we follow as a import. It is able to call also. But when the data come from there, the function get item function has no capability to capture the data. So at this place, we have a solution of async. Async. What async will do? Async will give some capability to your function so that your function will be able to capture the response. How that will be able to capture the response? As we have discussed in the fetch method, then is called a promise function. Similar way, at this place, we are not using any kind of then, but our function, the get item function, what we are written, it should have a capability like then function, so that when it is sending the request to other source, when the data come from there, the get item function will be able to, it should be capable to capture the data. Okay. So the keyword called async keyword says like, as soon as you will use the async keyword, your function will become a promise function. Which function? Get item function. As soon as you use the async keyword, your function will become a promise function. And the nature of the promise function is to capture the, it will have a capability to capture the response. Now look at there. I will go here. Before this function, I will apply here called async, async. Async. Now the get item function become a which function? Huh? Async keyword is not going to make asynchronous. It is asynchronous call only. But using the async keyword, your function will get a capability of promise function. Promise function, what is that function? Those function that has a feature to capture the response. Like your data.js file is sending the data, but your function, get item function, has not that much feature to capture the data. Now the async keyword says, I will make you capable to capture the data, right? So the use of the async is what? As soon as you apply the async keyword in front of any function, your function will get the capability of a promise. And the nature of the promise is what? It will have a capability to capture the response. Which response? Those response that is coming from other source. So at this place, you can see import is able to bring the data from where? From other source. Okay. But your function was not in the situation to hold the data, right? Because of that, it was in undefined length. Now we apply the async keyword. So function got capability to capture the data. Okay. So hope till there it is clear. Import why we follow? Because we are calling something. Export there we have made because someone should call it. Async we applied here so that function should be capability to hold the data. Now another keyword will come at this point called as await. Await. Okay. Now what is the await? As you have asked yesterday, if I will not apply the if I'll keep if I'll put as a else, it will go to where? Else block. So at this place, we are going to write a function call. We are going to write a function call. We are not going to write a function. We are going to use the keyword called await keyword. Okay. So await keyword will make your import function in such a way where Until and unless the response will not come from the backend, your import function will be in which mode? Wait mode. It will wait for the response. The response can be either success or fail. Okay, success means server will give something, fail means server will give something. Okay, so till the success or failure, the import method have to wait. For that, we need to apply here a keyword called await. So these all four are interlinked together. When the people ask question, they may ask what is the async and await. If you are able to answer, next question will be then what is the import and export. Okay. So if anyone asks import and export, while explaining, we have to explain the async and await also, so that next questions will not come out. If anyone asks async and await, at the same time, we have to apply the import and export also. So while explaining, we have to use all four words. Now I apply the await here. So what await will say? Await will say import function in urgent, you don't throw any error, you wait till the server will responsive. Which server? The data.js file. Till the server data.js file will not respond either success or fail, the import function will not do anything at all. Your compiler will be hold over there using which keyword? Await keyword. Okay. Let me come to the browser and see whether length is coming or not. Let me go here, clear this, and I will keep here item.length. Still it says some error. Okay, no problem. We can put dot slash here. Dot slash I have removed. See here. Now what is coming? Length is coming how many? 6 is coming. 6 is coming every time. How many times I'll click? Every time the 666 will come here. That's it's displaying as a length. Total 666. Right? So all the four keywords we got idea. Import why we use because we are calling something. Export why we have used there because someone should call that variable. After that, anyone should call through the this method. Which method? Import method. While applying the import, we need to apply the await keyword. Why await keyword? Because in case if your backend, if your server is slow, if the data.js file is taking little long time to respond, then in that case, your import function should not throw any unexpected error. It should wait till the response of the server, either success or failure. Another keyword you apply called async. What is that? Async is making your function as a promise function so that your get item function will be in situation, it will have a capability to capture the response. That is coming from where? Other file. Out of four keyword, if any keyword will be missed out, your data will not read from the data.js file. Okay. So when we come under the React, while calling the fetch method, while using the fetch method, we will use async and await. And while doing the import and export in the React, usually it is mostly going to call a component. One component you want to call somewhere else, you will use the import and export. But async and await, at most of the time, you are going to use with the fetch function. When the fetch function will send a request to backend, at that time, we will ask the fetch function in urgent, don't throw any error. Wait till the response from the where server. Until the server will not respond to you, you keep waiting. Once the server will send the response, either success or failure, then only you move ahead. Okay. So there we will be using, but at this moment, based on till now what we have studied, this is the best solution to understand async and await and import and export. Check now. Are you getting the length? And you can let me know also if you're working. Alert. I have put here alert directly. My data dot item dash dot length. Okay, hope ready. Getting the length? Anyone? No answer? Here, when we go here and click on item list, it should give me the length. How many? 6. Come next. Okay. Same way you can do for the next method also. So we will learn a function also can be imported, a class also can be imported, a variable also can be imported. The variable you are importing in the form of array. We will see next as a function how to import. Next we can write a class and then we'll see how to import a class. Okay. Now take the same thing and add under the second function here, get city, and under the get city you apply here city list dot length. City list dot length, and again same way before function a s y and c is required. Nine 30. Yes. Let us check now. Both alert is coming or not? City list says 6 city and item list is 5 and the city list is how many? 6. Okay. Next after this, if you get the array, if you got the array here, my data dot item list, if you got the array, then definitely now hope you can do here the generate some output. You can use the map function and display the data. So suppose for example, I will go here and I'll create a variable html equal to empty, or maybe under the html equal to I'll write here h2 available items, and I will close the h2. Now after that, once we got the data at this place, according to our requirement, we can design the layout and we can display inside the page. So we can write here my data dot item list dot length, my data dot item list dot map. Okay, you can write here name of the item as a first variable and position of the item as a second variable. Index will hold the position. Coming inside dhtml is the variable plus equal to plus, right? We can use a p tag here, and under the p tag we can print the name and we can close the p also. Index we can add plus. Now this will be completely, it will form the data as a paragraph. Once the loop is over, map is finished, the dhtml you can send to the container as a inner HTML. Document dot get element by id, which id, container dot inner HTML equal to DHTML. Container dot inner HTML equal to your DHTML. See it now. Once you click on that, automatically data will come from the data.js file, and their particular element item list will apply the map. It will generate the list of paragraph. List of paragraph will be placed under the HTML. Yes, no should come if it is working.
Sierra, I have a question here. So we don't have any other way, as we have that avid.js JS file, and this is our HTML file. So for calling the data, that array, we have this option only, means in a function we can call like this only through import. Because if we have two JS file, we can just on the top we can just import it and we can use it. But this is a HTML file, so is this is a way only.
Come again.
So this is the HTML file, and there in array we have defined in JS file. So is this the only way to import it and use it? Means because basically we have to use an array, right, to display that. So for using in HTML, we have to use like that only. We have to use like await and import, and then we have to use it.
We are not understanding how to call the JavaScript and HTML. We are understanding 4 keyword, that is called import, export,
Okay.
async, and await.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
There is a 20 ways to create a JavaScript file and call inside the HTML. But this example is not guiding you the meaning of calling a file and using the file. This example is guiding you how to use the async, await, import, and export.
Okay.
Okay. At the place
Yeah.
of data.js file, there can be some other URL also.
Yeah.
Okay, where import and export will be applied. That URL can have a JS file. There will be export will be applied. Here you are doing a import. This file is for that purpose. Which purpose? To understand the 4 keywords.
Okay.
When we come to the work point of view, many concept is there that is not in use. People will not use at all. Okay. But when we come to the interview point of view, people will ask that question. What is this? But once you get the job, after that, during entire session of the company, you will not find this word I have used anywhere. Okay. So use is where that is the next level to understand. But when the matter come to implement, right, how to implement, what is that, how is that work, the people wanted to know that particular point. So we have made example to understand. Okay, come next. So hope your list is coming. Says for me as a man. NANY get city. First one is called get item. Inside the get item, I wrote this. Then inner HTML, DHTML, item list, NaN, and then potato. NaN, potato, why? Potato is the last element. Okay. P, we have used DHTML.
The plus should be like plus first.
So plus will be first. Plus equal to. Let us see it now what it says. Okay, so all are coming. We can do same for this also. Which one? Second array. Exact similar way we can copy and paste there, and we can change the variable name. Hello, hello. Katrina will come 10 o'clock. Okay, next after that available city. So we can use here my data dot city list dot map. Name and index, again go to the container and display available city. Right, both the data is coming. First one will give, second one will also give you. Okay, there is a chances of little delay when the data is coming from the other source. There will be chances of little delay. So in that case, user should not be in urgent. So we can display a message here saying like inner text equal to please wait. We can write here call please wait. Please wait. Once data will come, automatically it will update by the new content. Till the data has not come, one message should display over there saying like please wait. Okay, hope it is working both. Now let's go. We can write another file, not another file, one more function where you are importing the variables. We are importing the variable. From there, you can import the function also. Let's go here, write a function Before function name, apply the export function name call user get user or maybe user list. Before user list, function keyword you have to apply here. Now after that, you can go inside and you can write here a data variable. Again DHTML we can write DHTML equal to follow the H2 user list, close the H2 user list. After doing that, we can come down and we can write here a variable my user equal to array, my user equal to array. Yes. Here let's see one it is good. Now after that this function, anyone can call this function directly. Whoever will call the function, they will get the complete ready-made content. They don't have to write the loop and all. Now in this function, you will write again my user dot for each we can use here. Map also you can use, for each also you can use. Okay, name of the user, comma, index of the user. After that, come inside, use here DHTML equal to DHTML plus equal to. You can write again, maybe paragraph tag. You can use here again name variable and again plus operator. We can close the tab. Right. So it is going to create the number of paragraph here, and at last it will do the return DHTML. Return DHTML. Whoever will call this function, wherever we are going to call this function, user list, wherever we are going to call the function user list, okay, wherever we are going to call the user list function will return you the list of names in paragraph. List of names in paragraph. Okay, here we can use index also. Index plus I can follow. Just a separator. Okay, so this line, now this file become complete a function where you got a variable one function, and before function also export is applied. In React also you will write the function, before function you will apply the export, and the function will return some content. Wherever you want to call the function, import the function, that's all. But there little extra code will come from the JSX. There some extra code will come from the JSX. That will be another point. Okay, hope written. Now come to the HTML file, and we have to write a button. Again, import export sync await will apply, and it will call the function from this file and use there. Okay, so the CS file is ready. Come to the HTML now. This function I will share in your chat. Under the index file, we need to add one button, get user. Get user. We can write here call user list. User list. We can go here and we can add one more function, async function call. What is the function name? Get user. Get user is the function name. This get user function will use again similar concept. My data dot where my data dot import you are calling, let it call as well, which we have followed earlier. Below we can write here document dot get element by id. No need to run the for loop now, because the function you are calling, that function have already HTML code. So here you will write directly my data dot user list as function name. My data dot user list as a function name. Here you have called my data dot city list as a variable name, and then after calling the variable you have used the loop. But in the case of user list is a function name. User list is a function name. It is exist in which file? Under the data.js file. That will give you complete content. You are taking the user list, and whatever the content get returned by that function, that content through inner HTML we are sending to container. Okay, that will be called as a how to import a function from one file to another file. Sequence, is it working or not? We can write one time also, on page load also we can call that. On page load you can call and store in a variable, and from there keep using. On page load. On page load we have a function, no, on load. If multi-time you are calling, that is the different way. That is the difference. So whenever you need, then only you need to call. Okay, maybe you need to call many times, maybe you need to call only one time. Okay, so whenever you need to call, you have to use import and all. Without import calling, you cannot get the data from there. So we have in this file 4 functions we call 4 times. If you want to make some more customization, options are there. We can call once time, we can call one time, and all the variables we can store in another object, and from there we can keep using. No need to call the import again and again. Okay, this import no need to call again and again. Call this once and store in a global variable. My data is what? Is a local variable. Inside local variable, what will happen? This local variable will be exist within the function. Which function? Get user. It will not be exist outside. एक second रुकिए. Hello. Hello. Which class? What time? Tell me the time. You are where in the institute, or you are attending online, or you are coming to the class. You can log in there. Already people are logging. Log in and wait for some time. Same link, yesterday link. You have a link of yesterday. Same link always. Okay, so now come there and check once. List of city is coming out. List of users. List of users also came here. So this is based on function, not based on variable. This is based on variable. This is also based on variable. Now, if you are saying like why I am calling again and again, solution is there for that. What is that? When you call first time, but this entire example will be breakdown. Okay, we have to copy and paste in that place. See this variable what we have made. This variable I will copy and paste outside. This variable I will copy and paste outside. Okay. Variable came outside. Now inside when I will use it, I will not use this line. I will not use this line. Which line? Var keyword. So now my var, my data becomes a global variable. Now under the global variable, once the get item will call, it will collect the data and pass to where? My data. Now in the next function, get city, you don't need this line. You don't need this line. You don't need sync await anything. Just directly you can write my data.city.map. That is also possible. When you are calling here, you have used sync and await. You are calling this import method, not required. Directly you can write here my data.citylist. Why? Because when the first time I called, that time only I have read the data and passed to which variable? Global variable. What without? No, no, no. Come again. In that scenario, if we directly use the get city or get user, it will not with the output. How it will come? We have to call this function no first. Any see यार कैसे आप बात करते हो? डेटा कहाँ पे है? डेटा दूसरे फाइल में है ना? दूसरे फाइल से लाएंगे तभी तो यूज करेंगे. लाएंगे तभी यूज करेंगे ना. आप सोच रहे हो कि बिना हम डेटा लाए नहीं ये यूज कर ले, वो कैसे होगा? You have to write a function, that function will bring the data. करेक्ट. तो मैंने क्या लिखा अभी? मैंने ये इंपोर्ट मेथड कितना बार लिखा? 4 बार लिखा. बिकॉज आई हैव द 4 फंक्शन. यू आर सेइंग राइट वंस एंड यूज मेनी टाइम. दैट इज योर क्वेश्चन. सो आई मेड ए व्हाट? आई मेड ए ग्लोबल वेरिएबल. और उस फाइल से मैंने डेटा को रीड करके ग्लोबल वेरिएबल में डाल दिया. अब ग्लोबल वेरिएबल में डाल दिया तो पेज के अंदर 50 फंक्शन लिखिए, कॉल कीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. यू डोंट नीड टू कॉल द इंपोर्ट अगेन एंड अगेन. ठीक है, वैसे कर सकते हैं. तो इस एग्जाम्पल में तो मैं छेड़छाड़ नहीं करूंगा बिकॉज इट विल बिकम डर्टी एंड अदर पीपल विल गेट कंफ्यूज. Okay, if you want then I can modify it tomorrow and I will show you how to call import once and use many times. How to call the import once and use everywhere. Import at least एक फंक्शन को तो करना होगा ना. एक फंक्शन को तो करना होगा इंपोर्ट. तो कहाँ करेंगे? एक सेपरेट फंक्शन लिखना है, लिख के इंपोर्ट कर लीजिए. और उसके बाद यहाँ पे देखो आप, मैं डेटा रीड करके कहाँ पे डालना हूँ, माई डेटा में डालना हूँ, राइट। अगर इंटरनेट पे आप पढ़ा होगा तो इनसाइड ए फंक्शन इफ यू हैव यूज्ड द var कीवर्ड, दैट मीनिंग द वेरिएबल बिकम एज ए लोकल वेरिएबल। सो व्हाट आई डिड जस्ट नाउ, इस var को मैंने काट के बाहर डाल दिया, ठीक है, तो क्या हुआ, वो ग्लोबल हो गया। अब एक बार मैं रीड करके ग्लोबल में डाल दूंगा तो चारों तरफ एक्सेस कर सकते हैं ना इजिली। कल बताएंगे, आज नहीं बताएंगे वो, ठीक है। देखिए इतना याद रखिए, अभी कितना लिखा हमने, हाउ मेनी कीवर्ड्स यू अंडरस्टूड, एसिंक, अवेट, इंपोर्ट एंड एक्सपोर्ट। इंटरव्यू जाने से पहले 4 4 लाइन का डिफिनेशन याद होना चाहिए, हर इंटरव्यू के लिए कंपलसरी है वो, इज कंपलसरी फॉर एवरी इंटरव्यू। ओके, एसिंक एंड अवेट, इंपोर्ट एंड एक्सपोर्ट। Okay, you can speak in your own way, however you want to speak, but you saw know how it is working. Before async, it was not able to call. What is the meaning of async? I have told you. Import, what is happening? Because we are bringing from somewhere. Why we apply the await in front of that? वो भी हमने बताया। अब वो सबका notes बनाइए और फिर देखिए कैसे। Okay, so let's see you tomorrow again, and hope you will work on this. You will write some notes about this. Tomorrow, if you want, I can guide you one to many, how to call once and use many times. That is the one. Another one, I can guide you like, we have next topic called